I never thought I would feel lonely. I had a family, a job, friends. I used to be surrounded by people, by conversations, by laughter. Loneliness to me was a word reserved for the elderly who had no one. But then I turned 60, and things began to quiet down. I retired. At first it felt like freedom. No alarms, no deadlines, no commutes. But slowly the phone calls stopped. The lunch invitations faded. Everyone seemed busy. My children had their own lives, their own families, their own chaos. And I had time. So much of it. At first, I tried to enjoy it. I read books, listened to old music, watered my plants. I even took up baking, for no one in particular. But as the weeks passed, something inside me started to dim. Not all at once, but gently, like a lamp flickering lower every night. One morning, I brewed tea, like always. Poured 2 cups out of habit. Then I looked across the table and realized I hadn't had a guest in months. I left the second cup there, let it sit. It looked like company, and somehow that made it easier. That was the first time I felt truly, painfully alone. Not just alone in space, but alone in meaning. You see, loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about feeling invisible, unspoken to, unneeded. It's when your voice echoes back at you, when no one asks how your day was, when you start to believe that even if you disappeared for a while, the world wouldn't notice. I used to think it was just me. Maybe I was being dramatic. Maybe I just needed a new hobby. But the truth is, after 60, this happens to a lot of us. We don't talk about it. We're ashamed of it, but it's there. In the silence of our kitchens, in the way we open the window just to hear footsteps outside. I started skipping meals. What was the point of setting a table for one? I turned on the television just to hear voices. I took longer naps, not because I was tired, but because the days were too long. I avoided gatherings, not because I didn't want to see people, but because I didn't want them to see how quiet my life had become. I felt like a guest in my own story, watching life go on outside the window while I sat with the curtains half closed, wondering if anyone would knock. But one day, something shifted. I saw an old man sitting on a bench in the park. He looked at peace, alone, but not lonely. He nodded at me. I nodded back. That tiny gesture, it reminded me I still exist. I still belong, and I can still reach out. So I did. I started walking each morning, at first with no goal, just to stretch my legs. Then I began to smile at people passing by. A wave, a hello, a few words with the same man on the same bench. I started sending voice notes to old friends. Not long messages, just thinking of you today. Some replied, some didn't. But every time I sent one, I felt a little less forgotten. And slowly, gently, the silence in my life began to feel less heavy. I learned that connection doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be crowded dinners or hour-long phone calls. Sometimes it's a neighbor's smile, a good morning from the mailman, or a comment from someone who saw your post online and said, "Me too." We don't need to be surrounded to feel seen. We just need to be remembered, and to remember ourselves. So if you're over 60 and you feel this ache I'm talking about, please know you're not broken. You're not failing. You're not alone in feeling alone. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. You still matter. Your presence still means something, even if it's quiet now. And if you're reading this or listening, maybe this is your first moment of connection today. I hope it makes you feel a little warmer inside. Because even if we haven't met, I see you, and I'm so glad you're still here.